I am Linden Speech, and I'm doing my TED Talk video on Newton's 3 laws of motion. My question is, how does everything we do describe or is the 3 laws of motion? So, the first law of motion, also known as the law of inertia, states that anything that is at rest will continue to be at rest, or anything that is in motion will continue to be in motion unless acted upon an unbalanced force. The second law, also known as the law of force, states that when a greater force is applied to an object, it causes it to accelerate. The greater the force that is applied, the greater the acceleration. The lesser the force that is applied, the lesser the acceleration. Okay, the third law of motion, also known as the law of action and reaction, states that every time there's an action force, there's also a reaction force that is equal in size and acts in the opposite direction. Okay, so an example of the first law of motion would be a soccer ball. But in order for a soccer ball to move, you have to kick it. And unbalanced force, stop that soccer ball. For my example of the second law of motion, it's going to be very simple with the soccer ball again. So it's basically when the greater the force is applied is the greater the acceleration. So if I'm barely touching the ball, it's barely going to accelerate. But if I touch it, it's going to accelerate faster. See? Barely touching it. It's not a lot of force applied. A lot of force. Greater the acceleration. For my third law of motion, this cup sitting on the table, and the table is pushing the cup up because it's a reaction. So, the table sitting on the table, this cup of water, and the table is pushing it up for the reaction. Another example of the first law would be basically a bowling ball, rolling the bowling ball down and knocking down the pins. And the second law of motion, just pushing a bike. I mean, people can really push a car, but I mean, you barely push a car, it's really not going to move because the car is heavy. It has a lot of mass, and mass times acceleration equals force. And another example of the third law of motion, what everybody does these days, phone screen, you text. The phone is pressing on your fingers while you're texting. So basically anything you do these days, if you're driving, texting, walking, running, it includes the 3 laws of motion. Thanks for watching.